Welcome to Between Two Pastries, a not-so-typical nutrition podcast. Nicole and Annie are licensed and registered dietitians. Join them as they discuss hot nutrition topics, challenge popular beliefs, and have a blast doing it. Here are your hosts, Nicole and Annie.
Welcome to Between Two Pastries.
Hey, everyone. Hi.
Yeah.
It's our New Year's edition.
Yeah, so we thought we would talk about the concept of resolutions.
Yeah, and I want to make before we even tap into that, right now, and I think it probably started like September, I started seeing memes already for 2020 has to end, how is it gonna, 2021 is gonna be so much better. And it just already at that point in the fall got me thinking about oh God, it's gonna be one of those years where I know 2020 sucked and is still sucking, but at the same time, it's like people think 2020 is actually coming to an end, and then we get to start over.
Right.
It's that, and it just made me think, I'm like, oh no, all the diet stuff is going to start.
Right. And I think that that's kind of just the overall theme that we're trying to talk about here is that, life, years, day in, everything is just fluid, just leads into each other. It's not like, things end and something else begins. In a sense, when we're talking about time, is what I mean. So
yeah, there's a work week, but that's only because we created that.
Yeah.
There's a new year because we created that. But really, Friday to Saturday, it's just a change in day.
So the whole concept of I'll start Monday.
Yeah.
It's the idea is, first of all, what are we starting?
Correct.
Number one. And why are we starting something?
Right.
And why aren't we just being present to whatever that is right now?
Right. Well, I can eat all the pizza until the new year and cookies and eggnog and cakes and whatever the heck I want. Because on, January 1st, then I can start
starving myself
and eating salads, and I'm gonna start January 1st to exercise. And January 1st means I'm gonna do all of these things. I'm gonna go from 0 to 100. Because I can't do them right now. It's too hard right now. But for some reason, because it turns to January 1st, I will be able to change everything that is an ingrained habit.
Right.
That I haven't been able to do prior. But now I'm going to be able to lose those 10 pounds. Now I'm going to be able to, start exercising. Now I'm going to be able to follow the diet. No, you're not.
Right.
The diet industry, though, and media wants us to believe, though, that we will.
Absolutely.
Hence why, and there's actually a formula to all of this, why we see all of the media at certain times of the year, being end of December through January, and they create these sales. And there's a formula that they use, and I was watching something about all of this, that, that the media and the diet industry will, formulate how to get the best number of sales based on the time in which they, provide all of this information out to people. Gyms do it, pills, those kinds of things, deals on, meals that you can have sent to your house, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I know.
But yet, I can't exercise today, but I'll definitely be able to do it January 1st.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It's just the thinking is so bizarre.
So there's two things here. The first thing is what you mentioned about the media, and the other piece I just wanted to add to that is how they prey on where you're at emotionally.
Correct.
So when you're feeling the most vulnerable or the less, you're not feeling as great about yourself, or it's like they time when people are going to be feeling emotionally, what's the word I'm looking for?
Emotionally vulnerable for sure, but also insecure.
Just that sense of insecurity where you're going to make a quick decision.
Right.
So meaning some media thing is going to tell you a lie that you want to hear so badly, and you'll just,
bend over.
You'll just press yes and give them your credit card and pay for all this stuff or whatever. Right. Because you're buying into a belief.
Correct.
You're buying into this dream that they're trying to sell you in a sense, which is which is just interesting, where it's like, it's like the big Band-Aid for what the real thing is all I'm saying. But it's not even a Band-Aid. It's it's one of those cheap Band-Aids
but
that
like
don't
the plastic,
stick real good.
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? It's not even a real
Right.
Band-Aid
It lasts long enough that you can't make a return on what you purchase.
Well, that too. Well, I think people really seek what they're looking for when they're ready.
Well, and it's instant gratification.
Right.
It's
People
January
love
1st,
that.
I make a change.
Right.
And it's that whole concept, and I think it's just human behavior too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it goes beyond that, but okay, it's a new year, new me, and I want to see what my streak is to
Sure.
be able to do something.
Yes.
And then it ends up where we struggle to make these changes,
Right.
Habitual change. We can't do it. So it lasts, maybe some people hit that week, and then we get in the week cycle. Mm-hmm. Some people are on a month cycle,
Sure.
and they redo, and then the month cycle usually turns into a week cycle, and then come, Halloween, then it's all just tumbles, and okay, well, I'll just wait till 2022 then.
Right.
And we repeat it, and we create resolutions that are exactly the same as, let's just go back 5 years. Mm-hmm. This is the year I'm going to follow the diet, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to do blah, 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 and I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to do whatever the goals are. And we literally set the same resolutions every single year. Mm-hmm. And every single year, we still can't accomplish them. So that doesn't tell you that you're the problem.
Correct.
Because you're a changing body. You are not the problem.
Well, and that's the point that I was just going to make.
Perfect.
Too. That it isn't, and that's where people will go,
mm-hmm.
and that's what then perpetuates the behavior
they
to
feel
continue
shame.
The cycle.
Right.
And so it's not that you're the problem. It's what is it that you feel you lack. Mm-hmm. Also. That you're almost not allowing yourself to even have. And so what I mean by that, I tread lightly over that.
Yeah, right.
But what I mean by that is instead of like going into this whole, thing with our plans and
plans, and it's written out, Excel spreadsheets.
Right. And like you're saying, like, this is the year that I'm going to follow the diet. It's like, well, wait a minute. How about this is the year I'm going to experience more joy in my life than I ever have.
Right. I'm going to stay off my phone a little bit more so I can see more.
And how can I do that?
Right.
And following the diet doesn't give you the joy.
No.
Dropping the 10 pounds doesn't actually give you the
Never
lasting
does.
joy. You'll experience, whatever that is because you felt you've achieved a goal of some sort.
Correct.
And then realize that you still feel what you did before.
Right.
And so in a lot of times, because we still feel what we did before, that can also lead into other self-harm behavior, honestly.
Yeah,
and really dieting is
maladaptive
honestly
everything.
self-harm.
It is 100%
It's
self-harm.
definitely a form of it.
We feel shame and we need to do this.
Right.
You need to get to the core root of that issue.
Yeah.
Or otherwise the dieting will continue.
Yeah.
I think also too, let's throw some examples out there. So you mentioned, setting a goal of just simply feeling more joy in the next year. What have you personally, if you want to share, what have you set for intentions or goals? I don't even like to call them resolutions.
Yeah.
I think of them as more intentions for the next year.
Yeah.
Goals or whatever. What have you
Well, I think
set?
the thing is I'm like always big, not into resolutions.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
Period. And I think that we also look at, okay, what was this year like? What worked? What didn't work? What do you want to see, different?
Right.
But I think so much of it is simply just based on what do you value and what do you want to experience more of?
Well,
so as I mentioned,
yeah.
More joy, I had fun this year, but I want to have more fun this year. But what does that mean to me, right?
Right.
Or I want to work less this year. So what does that mean I need to do? What are some give and take things? Am I okay with those? It's like evaluating the things that are really important to you.
Well, I think it's also important too, when setting intentions, if that's something that you do that, for example, I set an intention to see, 3 new countries and 2 new states in 2020.
Sure.
And then a pandemic hits, and you got to be able to say, meh,
Okay.
That's okay.
That's cool.
Shit happens.
Yes, exactly.
It happened, and it's okay. Because some people get real upset.
I know.
When they didn't get that goal, and
Yes.
then they kick themselves, and then the next year the goal is even worse, especially in the exercise and nutrition world. I didn't lose that 10 pounds in 2020. Well, now it's got to be 20 pounds. And it's like they intensify something that wasn't achievable to begin with.
Right.
How about we just say, I'm going to eat a variety of food, or I'm going to try a new food every month? Or why do we have to be so mean to ourselves?
I know.
When we set goals? It's really unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is true.
The goals.
And that's the thing too, because so many of the goals are based off of some type of restriction or beating the heck out of our body, of just overworking out, or and the thing is that people aren't even checking in. Like, does this even feel good to me?
Right.
You know, or maybe...
Does my life worsen because now I'm not eating anything?
Right, and now I'm not sleeping because I'm, you know what I mean,
now I'm
too jacked up or something.
And
yeah, I mean...
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Why do we not set intentions that better us as human beings? And I will guarantee 100% of the time, weight loss does not make you a better human being.
Right, absolutely.
100% of the time, it does not make you a better human being. And majority of the time, it is not going to impact your health to lose all that weight that you project or think you need to lose.
Right. And again, you know, weight loss in general is always secondary, in particular when it's weight loss that lasts, when it comes down to simply taking care of yourself and taking care of yourself by honoring all the things.
Yep.
You know, honoring
all the jiggles and wiggles and hormone shifts and fluid shifts and age and everything. Muscle soreness, trying new things, everything. It just it's having children or you know, growth spurts or whatever that happens to people that changes their body. It's okay.
Right.
But on the other hand, Nicole, the media, people, friends, family, whomever tells other people and likes to share their opinions that it's not okay. So then we get stuck in that cycle of setting these intentions of all the expectations that others have on us or the media or whatever. And we're back in that cycle.
Right. And therefore, that's what drives the goal.
Right.
It's not even, and that's why I also kind of want people to check in. Like, is that even what you really want? Or is it what you think you have to do?
Well, but a lot of people will say, yeah, I really want to lose 10 pounds.
Sure.
Okay, well, why?
Right.
Why?
That's the thing.
Why do you, and I can't answer that for anyone. I'm sure you can't answer that for anyone. I think a lot of the excuses, and I hate to use that word, but they are excuses, is, well, I'll feel better. Okay, well, why don't you feel better right now?
Just right now, because we can. That's the thing.
Because you can,
Right. Right. I know.
Yeah, so if there's one resolution that I have for 2021, it is so no one actually makes any resolution.
Right. I would agree.
That would be what I would want for all of my listeners, is to come up with something that, like, hey, I'm going to find, like you said, find more joy.
Right.
Do something for myself.
Right.
You know.
Take a little bit more downtime.
Yeah.
I'm going to commit to, you know, adding meditation into my, you know, weeks or something. Or
it's okay to not change anything too.
And that too. Like, it doesn't
I think we always think we have to improve. And I always hated that. Like when I worked in sales and it was, hey, you did so great, you're 6% up, but now it needs to be 8. And you're just like, oh,
like, seriously?
What the hell?
That's right.
And everything always had to be improved, even though it was already so great.
Right.
Guess what? You don't have to change anything.
Right.
You can just be okay with where you're at.
Right.
And that's okay. And I frankly feel like with 2020, we should all just be okay. Like,
we really
maybe
need to
we
be
just
okay.
need to be okay and accept what's going on.
Yeah. And
into 2021.
Give ourselves a round of applause for actually, you know,
mostly managing through
getting through it.
Yeah, like, and what's to come, you know? So it is okay to not ever feel like you need to self-improve.
Right.
I always want to make sure that's clear, because I do feel like there's this
pressure. There is that pressure, and it's but the pressure is there because society says you're not enough,
right?
And
it's
so
true. Same thing.
That's always going to be that underlying message that is just seems to be blaring out there.
Yeah,
and that's part of part of all of this is simply just self-acceptance.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And like, you being okay with you on every single level.
Right.
Like whether, and if you want to do something different in your life, that you're doing it because you solely want to do that, but not because you think you have to, because if you do, you'll be happier.
Right. You won't. Trust me.
Right.
You won't. Been there, done that. You won't.
Right.
You won't.
Right.
And you can try and all that, and you still won't. And then you seek out practitioners, and then, again, it's a cycle that we're so familiar with. But I hope people maybe cut themselves a break, especially this year, and just enjoy every single day. You don't need to eat differently because of the day that it is, or the week, or the time of day, or whatever. Right. You can just live present. And there's lots of treats around the holiday season, and there's new things around. But remember, cakes and treats and cookies and eggnog and turkey and roast beef can be year-round. And if you make it a regular thing in your diet pattern, all of a sudden you won't need to follow a diet in January. Everything will be, hey, I really do want that cookie, and I'm good. Right. I don't need it. Right. Where you don't have food on a pedestal anymore. No. Food is just neutral.
Total freedom.
Yeah, you have food freedom, and it's a wonderful thing. And that's, again, what we continue to preach with balance and moderation. Eat the turkey all year round. Eat the candy corn all year round, and the eggnog and the stuff. And you won't have this problem. Right. Bake regularly. Right. So then you're not eating the cookie dough. Right. But it just normal.
That's the point too that I want to make is it's more stressful on the body to do these extremes.
Correct.
Than it is just to eat consistently.
Well, and what happens then is, so I eat consistently throughout the year, and let's say I have an extra couple pounds on me, just from a normal weight. We'll just go with, scientific weight says your ideal body mass should be blank, and I'm a couple of pounds heavier than that because I spend the whole year, every year for however many years, just eating normal and finding balance. Okay, but in order to strive to be a normal to lower weight, I have to not eat these foods for the whole year. And then in the month of December, I overconsume them, and I introduce all these foods, and I'm doing all these behaviors, and the body doesn't like that. Over time, you will become at a higher weight than had you just been those couple pounds heavier eating it regularly. Yeah. And I hope I'm making sense. And am I explaining that correct? Because sometimes people don't. They're like, what? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. Over time, that little chart, it goes up. And it goes up drastically. And that's where you see women in their 40s and 50s see that larger spike as they continue to try to do all of this endurance training when they should be introducing strength training. Right. They're not eating enough. Right. And then they're over-consuming around the holidays and only time of year. And weight continues to just go up and up and up. And versus eat normal, you're just a couple pounds heavier, let's say, than you're normal. Maybe you're not.
But that's the other piece that we could get into another conversation about. That is so many people, what they think their normal is not even normal. It's not where their body wants to be. And seriously. that's part of it. That's part of like understanding like, you may not like where your body wants to be because someone's telling you it should be lower. Right. It's like we don't give ourselves that opportunity to just, again, when we're eating normally, we're not overeating, we're not undereating, we're just honoring kind of normal, hunger levels. Like we're not like getting too stuffed. We're, you know what I'm saying? Where everything is just kind of even keeled. Our body will eventually be at a weight that it wants to be at. Some people call it a set point, whatever. Sometimes because of these ups and downs on people have an adjusted set point. But point being is that a body knows where it wants to be.
Right. 100%.
And the issue is that why are we arguing with it?
I don't know.
Why do we have to?
I don't know.
Why are we spending that much time and energy?
It blows my mind the amount of time people spend thinking about this
stuff.
When
when they could actually be enjoying life and having fun doing something and being with someone
and savoring
or
the
going
cookie,
somewhere
enjoying it.
Yeah, I know. Or that,
I want to reference our Chrissy Harrison pod where we talked about anti-diet because right in there, a set of doctors in order to get insurance reimbursement changed the BMI scale.
That's right.
So everyone who was normal all of a sudden went to overweight.
Right.
And it was for the sake of getting insurance reimbursed. Like, you guys read that book, because you will find out the true history of how we came to be with this quote unquote obesity epidemic, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
You gotta, understand that BMI stuff is wrong. Listening to your doctors about your weight, don't do that.
Right. I agree.
That they're not the practitioner to tell you about that.
Right.
There's a lot of people who take it upon themselves and who think they're nutrition experts when they're not.
Right.
They are not the body experts, and you got to let it go. But that's just I'm on a soapbox.
No, I know, because
right
we could keep
I'm
going
like
on.
so
There's
we got to talk about
so much we
resolutions.
can talk about. Yeah.
My blood pressure's
But
really
we're
high.
talking about resolutions. So I guess what we're saying is,
I'm like sweating.
if you feel like you want to choose something different for yourself this year, how can you be the most supportive to yourself?
And I think that's the challenge we need to present to people.
Yeah. Just what could be more supporting than to yourself this year than it was, whatever.
Right. And I want people to also see the difference in what we're advocating as podcasters, that, find joy in your in your resolutions, versus, and I don't know, I'm not the biggest podcast listener in the world, but I venture to guess there's lots of podcasts that people listen to where it's, you need to exercise more and you need to lose that weight and tone your abs, and those should be your resolutions. How does that make you feel? If that makes you feel shame, stop.
Right.
Don't listen to it. Don't agree with it. If anything brings you shame, stop doing it or listening, whatever. So just keep that in mind. We're right. Okay? Find joy.
Yes.
Find joy in 2021 and even 2020 for the rest of 2020. It doesn't mean it's over. It's just a different day.
It literally is a different day.
It's just a different day.
It's just a different day.
Right.
It's real simple.
Yeah, it really is. And you just have to mark your bills with a different number.
With a different number that you might forget.
Right, for the first month.
For the first little bit.
Okay. We beat the dead horse.
We did beat the dead horse, and we are signing off for the year, and we wish all of you a really, really lovely, peaceful, nurturing end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And enjoy, smile.
Smile a lot, like hard.
Even if you don't want to, just smile.
I know, and hopefully it's filled with gratitude too.
Yes.
No matter. I know. Big breath. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have questions you want to hear discussed on the show? Find us on Facebook or visit between2pastries.com and drop us a line. Want to support the show? Find us on Patreon for exclusive content. If you love the show, find us on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review.